Empire Tales. Cleopatra VII, the Last Pharaoh. Imagine a woman who ruled the world's richest kingdom not just with her legendary beauty, but with a mind so sharp it could outmaneuver the greatest generals of Rome. She was a linguist, a naval commander, and a master of political theater. In a world dominated by men, she rose to become the Queen of Kings, a living goddess on the Nile who chose to die on her own terms rather than walk in chains. This is the true story of Cleopatra VII, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, whose life was a breathtaking symphony of power, passion, and ultimate tragedy. Part 1. The Child of the Sun, the Ptolemaic Legacy. To understand Cleopatra, we must first look at the bloodline she carried. She was not ethnically Egyptian. She was Greek, a descendant of Ptolemy I, one of Alexander the Great's finest generals. For nearly 300 years, her family had ruled Egypt as foreigners, refusing to speak the local tongue. But Cleopatra was different. She was a brilliant scholar who mastered 9 languages and was the first in her line to actually learn the Egyptian language, earning the devotion of her people. Born in 69 BC, she was thrust into a family defined by treachery. In the Ptolemaic court, siblings murdered siblings and children poisoned parents to seize the throne. When her father, Ptolemy XII, died, Cleopatra was left to co-rule with her 10-year-old brother. But the boy's advisors wanted a puppet, not a queen. They launched a coup, driving Cleopatra into the harsh deserts of Syria. But they made a fatal mistake. They underestimated the fire inside the young queen. While her brother sat on the throne, Cleopatra was raising an army, waiting for a spark to ignite her return. Part 2. The Rug and the Dictator, meeting Julius Caesar. That spark arrived in the form of Julius Caesar, the most powerful man in Rome, who came to Alexandria in pursuit of his rival, Pompey. Cleopatra knew she had to meet Caesar before her brother's men could kill her. In one of history's most famous acts of political theater, she had herself smuggled into the palace, hidden inside a large laundry bag or a decorative rug. When the rug was unfurled before Caesar, a 21-year-old queen stepped out, not a beggar, but a goddess. Caesar was instantly captivated, not just by her appearance, but by her wit and her vision for Egypt. With Roman legions at her back, Cleopatra defeated her brother's forces in a bloody civil war. She was restored to the throne, and soon after, she gave birth to Caesar's son, Caesarion. For a brief moment, it seemed that the two greatest empires of the Mediterranean, Rome and Egypt, would be united under one family. Cleopatra traveled to Rome in a golden barge, living in Caesar's private villa, a foreign queen at the heart of the Republic. But the dream shattered on the Ides of March, 44 BC, when Caesar was assassinated. Cleopatra fled back to Egypt, her protector gone and her future uncertain. Part 3. The Golden Barge, the Love of Mark Antony. Rome was now split between Caesar's heir, Octavian, and his most loyal general, Mark Antony. Cleopatra knew she needed a new Roman ally to protect Egypt's independence. In 41 BC, she summoned Antony to Tarsus. If Caesar had been won by a surprise, Antony would be won by pure, overwhelming spectacle. She arrived on a barge with silver oars and purple sails, dressed as the goddess Aphrodite, surrounded by beautiful attendants. Antony, a man of simple pleasures and grand ego, was completely enthralled. Their partnership became one of the most famous romances in history. Part 4. The Clash of Empires, the Battle of Actium. The propaganda war turned into a literal war. In 31 BC, the forces of Antony and Cleopatra met Octavian's fleet at the Battle of Actium. It was a disaster. Cleopatra, seeing the tide turn, fled with her ships back to Egypt, and Antony, in a moment of desperate love or madness, abandoned his men to follow her. The end was now inevitable. Octavian's army closed in on Alexandria. Antony, receiving a false report that Cleopatra was dead, fell on his own sword. dying in her arms. Cleopatra was now alone, a prisoner in her own city. Octavian intended to take her back to Rome as a trophy, to parade her through the streets in chains as a defeated captive. To a woman who had ruled as a goddess, this was a fate worse than death. Part 5. The Snake and the Crown, the Death of a Goddess. In August of 30 BC, at the age of 39, Cleopatra prepared for her final act. She sat in her royal mausoleum, dressed in her finest regalia, wearing the crown of the pharaohs. Legend says she had an Egyptian cobra, the asp, a symbol of divine royalty, smuggled to her in a basket of figs. She allowed the snake to bite her, choosing a quick, royal death over a lifetime of Roman humiliation. When Octavian's soldiers burst into the room, they found her dead on a golden couch, her handmaidens dying at her feet. One of the soldiers asked in anger, "Was this well done?" Her maid replied with her final breath, "Exceedingly well, as became the daughter of so many kings." Legacy, more than a face. For 2,000 years, history has been written by Cleopatra's enemies. Rome painted her as a seductress and a manipulator, but the reality is far more complex. Cleopatra was a brilliant administrator who stabilized Egypt's economy, a dedicated mother who fought for her children's inheritance, and the only Ptolemy who truly loved Egypt. She was the last of the pharaohs, and with her death, the 3,000-year-old history of ancient Egypt as an independent power came to an end. She proved that power is not just about the size of an army, but about the strength of a legend. She remains the ultimate symbol of a woman who held the world in the palm of her hand and refused to let it go without a fight. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the life of the last pharaoh. If you believe these legendary stories need to be told with the truth they deserve, please subscribe to Empire Tales, like this video, and join our community of history enthusiasts. The past is never truly dead. It is just waiting to be told.